G'day folks, here's my top 20 albums from Century Media Records. G'day folks, Jeff here, welcome back to the channel. Today we're doing another of my favourite record labels. This time it's Century Media Records. Now, honestly, I know very little about Century Media other than the fact they put out some damn fine albums. I think they were formed in Germany by, Robert Kampf and Oliver Withoff. In 1988. So it's pretty much been metal the whole time. I think they have a slightly alternative kind of spin-off label, but it's now owned by Sony since about 2015, and that's about the extent of what I know about them. So, they've put out a ton of stuff, massive back catalogue. So this is just my favourite top 20 albums. As you would imagine, it's the heavier end of the scale as per usual. This is only one album per band, because if it wasn't, there'd be some multiple ones in here, I think. But now, one thing that the Century Media do a lot of, and I won't be including these in the actual list, is they do a heap of reissues. They're pretty bloody good about it. So, like, my two versions of Brave Murder Day are both Century Media, as is my Discouraged ones for some reason. They've done a heap of reissues that, you probably recognise some of these from my recent collection updates. Afflicted put out this killer bloody grotesque compilation. It's animated one, or unanimated, sorry. One thing I would definitely give them props for, and I would like to include this, but they're not the original releases of this. Is this a Bramlin friggin' massive box set that's like 3 CDs chock full of killer Aussie death metal. I mean, and having a look through my CDs and so on, there are a batch that are the Century Media repress, like this Rotting Christ one. That's like the Almighty Contract with the not my favourite cover. These recent Edge of Sanity reissues are all on Century Media. For some reason, my Immolation album, Shadows of the Lights, on Century Media. Plus, they put out this absolutely killer Hellhammer compilation as well, which is very, very worthwhile if you want to track that down. So they've done a lot of damn fine reissues over the years. They do have a sub-label as well. It was it's called Century Black. So I think it did release a couple of albums, like initially as the original releases of it, one of which is in the list, don't you worry. I did get suckered into them by this Firestarter compilation that, I don't know, I keep thinking it was like $5, maybe it was $10. It was bloody cheap back in the day. This came out in probably 97. There you go. So a ton of. It's got Emperor, Old Man's Child, Satyricon, Borknagar, Catatonia, Arcturus, blah blah blah. So they put out some damn fine stuff. So Century Black reissued, basically all those bands, Mayhem, this Einherjar, and that's one of the things I like about Century Media is back in the day they used to send out a ton of these old like promos. So I got to know a batch of these bands just via quick little promo that I lifted from BMA magazine that I used to write for. They used to get, it was a music magazine, so they got heaps of promos and so on. It'd be like, metal stuff, follow that, thank you. So they've done a ton of damn fine stuff over the years. But let's get into the top 20. All right, number 20 on the list is Napalm Death with their Throes of Joy in the Jaws of Defeatism. This came out in 2022. So this isn't all stuff released in 1991. There's a bit of it maybe, but this is the most recent Napalm Death. Well, they did do an EP after that, I think, but honestly, it's not my favourite Napalm Death by any means, but it's probably my favourite of the later era stuff. I don't know, there's something really fun about it, I think. Barney sounds bloody good on CD. Live, not so much, but on CD, it sounds killer. Even his sung bits on, Contagion, I think. Both Napalm Death singers, Barney and Lee Dorian, I have issues with them trying to sing clean vocals. That does not work very often. But on this one, I think he's got the right sort of tone. Some of the previous, more recent ones are like, didn't work, Barn. Sorry, mate. On this, Danny sounds quick as hell on the drums. Bloody hell. It's still marginally plastic sounding, but he's still got a decent amount of speed to him. killer songs. I think Backlash, just because it's got massive breakdowny sort of bit towards the end. It's bloody killer. I really like Invigorating Clutch as well. It's a sort of slower one that just, I don't know, it just rules. Amoral's like a Killing Jokey kind of sounding one. So, bit post-punky sounding. It actually works surprisingly well. The only one I don't really like is the last song, A Belly Full of Salt and Spleen, which is kind of trying to sound like swans, and yeah, it's just not that great. So yeah, I'm quite surprised that Napalm Death, after all these bloody years, I know they've had a few lineup changes over the years, but it's still pretty solid core, and I assume like Shane Embry probably writes it all these days. Although I don't know, this one's still, I think Mitch is still credited on this, so maybe they record with him, just don't tour with him. I'm never quite sure what's going on in that regard. Let's see, Music Embry. So yeah, let's just assume Shane writes it all. But yeah, still going strong. I'm very happy by that fact. So yeah, number 20, Napalm Death. All right, the number 19 is another older band, you could say, that still going strong. Voivod. This is The Wake from 2018. So this is I think it's about their second or third album on Century Media. I think they did like a live one, and then I think from Target Earth onwards, when they had a bit of a sort of creative resurgence, you could say. After that, I think it was all Century Media. So yeah, I really like this album. It's helped, I think, by Chewy being fully incorporated into the songwriting. There's no old picky songs left, which I think marginally dragged down some of the albums just prior to this. I don't know. Maybe that stuff was left because it wasn't album material. I don't know, but I think from Target Earth didn't really blow me away, but it was a good resurgence for them, I think. And this one, yeah, bloody gets there, I think. It kind of reminds me of Nothing Face era, maybe a bit of Angel Rat and a bit of The Outer Limits. So that sort of good period after when they sort of dropped the thrash, let's put it that way. And then this is not blisteringly fast by any means. There's some fast bits. There's a lot going on this album. Bloody hell. I think it's the end of Dormancy's like an epic slower one, but it just gets sort of nice and weird as it goes on. Really good solos throughout from Chewy, who, yeah, I mean, he's been around. He's no newcomer to metal. I really need some Martyr. I don't think I have any of their stuff, and huge props to Rocky, the bass player. I don't know. I mean, hard act to follow Blackie and that side of things, but he does it bloody well. It's got sort of always inventive kind of bass lines, and yeah, there's plenty of, you can pick up the post-punk influences on this, a bit of sort of, and also a bit of King Crimson sort of style in parts as well. I'm just happy these guys are continuing to produce like really interesting and exceptionally good music. I should have got the Synchro Anarchy or whatever, the newer one out as well. That's a ripper as well. And I'm glad they're not just resting on past laurels and, putting out Dimension Hatred Part 2 or anything like that. There's still plenty of nods to the old stuff in this, but yeah, it's new music, which I very much like. So yeah, good old Voivod. So there you are, stuck on the shelf, you'll go. There you are, smashed. All right, number 18 might be a bit of a surprise to some of you. My tastes aren't always the most extreme, so number 18 is Lacuna Coil with their Comalize album from 2002. Now, it's kind of difficult for me to pick, and yeah, you might be surprised. Yeah, I have a lot of Lacuna Coil albums. I have most of them up until about, I think, 2012. After that, it got a bit average. So I find it tricky to not pick Unleashed Memories because I really like that as well. I mean, this is a band I got suckered in by a promo, in the early days in 1998, apparently. So yeah, I'm quite enjoying them. For some reason, we have 2 copies of this album, but... Yeah, well, so yeah, this is, I think this is their sort of peak sort of album. The one after is pretty bloody good as well, Karma Code, but I really like the song, Swamped is massive sort of hit song, and straight after is Heaven's a Lie, which is a killer one as well. I really love Tightrope. It's got that cool little double bass bit. Unspoken probably should have been a sort of pop hit almost. So yeah, honestly, I don't listen to these guys all the time, but they bring back great memories of my early relationship with my dear wife. She's quite a fan as well, and I used to play a song of theirs on on the radio show that we did every fortnight, basically dedicated to her. So yeah, it probably pissed off the 5 listeners that we had, but tough luck. Now, this is 2 vocalists obviously in these guys. Christina, I don't think she's got quite the range of some of her fellow singers like Taja from Nightwish or Anarchy or Sharon from Within Temptation, but she uses what she has well, I think. And I've always found it interesting that they've got both singers. Like there's a bloke singer, Andrea or whatever his name is as well. It's good contrast. Some of the later stuff, yeah, didn't really. I think I tailed off around, I don't know, the one with the hand grenade on the cover. I can't remember what it's called, but yeah, I watched a bit of live footage of them these days as well, and yeah, I mean the old songs still sound alright, but a lot of the new ones, yeah, he's growling a lot. It kind of throws me as weird. I mean, he does growl on some of the old ones a bit, but not much. So yeah, not the greatest band in the world, but well, I don't know, there are sweet spots for me. So yeah, Lacuna Coil. Number 17's a pretty near brand spanking one. You'll probably recognise this one, Blood Incantation with their Absolute Elsewhere. I got the name right this time. So yeah, I won't speak too much about this. This was on my top 20 albums from 2024, and it's reasonably well known. So yeah, I love this album. It's a wild ride. I know there's a lot of purists that probably don't like all the mellow, krautrocky sort of bits in it and strange keyboards, but I really like the fact that there's just so many changes and different styles in this. Occasionally the transitions are, a bit jarring. Got to show that inside bit. Yeah, they're a bit sort of jarring from Pink Floyd straight into death metal. Yeah, maybe they need a few slight transition bits, but who knows, maybe that's the point. I really love the chunky riffing. I mean, this is 2 songs that are about 20-odd minutes long. I think about 3 minutes into the message, I don't know, it's this killer chunky riffing, but it just sounds so good. And that's the beauty of it. There's a lot of changes on this. I really enjoy the fact that they're experimenting so much and just pushing death metal just that little bit further, I think. So, honestly, I still prefer Star Spawn, the first album. It's just a bit more cohesive. But I'm really, really glad to follow Blood Incantation on their journey. Let's hope it goes for many more years ahead. So, yeah, number 17, Blood Incantation. Number 16 is Sentence with their North From Here album. This came out in 1993, so this is a somewhat recent Cosmic Keys reissue, but it does have a Century Media logo on it. Yeah, this is their second album, Finished Death Metal. Although by then it was not just Finished Death Metal, it changed quite a bit, I think. Honestly, to me, it just sounds like Atheist Piece of Time, like a sequel to that, really. So I mean, they mention it in the liner notes as well, but it's very obvious when you listen to it. Yeah, the first album, Shadows of the Past, it's just pretty straight Finnish death metal, a bit Swedish sounding as well in parts, but yeah, this is a lot more. It's a lot more melodic. It has some sort of epic, I don't know, maybe not epic black metal, but melodic black metal feel to it as well. The vocals are different because, what's his name, Tanelli and Java took over on vocals, and they're a lot raspier, which works really bloody well, actually. Yeah, he was a busy lad. He was in Empowered Nazarene at the same time, so getting around. But yeah, bit of a mid-era death sort of feel to it. Bit of you can tell why they covered Maiden on the album or the EP after this as well. So, and yeah, I just love the bass isn't following the guitars. It's doing its own thing, that's for sure. So, honestly, I haven't had this album long, but if it's made its way into this list already, it's doing bloody good. So I look forward to many years of listening to this and blasting it. I still don't have Amok, the third album, or anything beyond that, but yeah, one day. I'll get there one day. Alright, number 15 is Rune Magic with Enter the Realm of Death. This came out in 1999, so this is some majestic death doom from Sweden. This is their second album of 14 brand spanking ones coming out soon, I think. So, yeah, only the first three of their albums are with Century Media, and they all rule really. But I don't know, it's just something I love about this one. Back in these days, they're a bit more deathly than just. They're very trudging these days. Still bloody killer, but yeah, they're there was plenty of faster bits back in these days as well. So, but yeah, the title track "Into the Room of Death's just epic, heavy as hell. One of my favourites on here is actually "Dethrone the Flesh." I don't know, I get suckered into listening to it because this chunky sort of riff in it. That's yeah, I regularly will just listen to just that song, but yeah, it reminds me a bit of Earth, the Aussie Swede death sort of band. And yeah, I think it's The Call of Tombs is another just bouncy ripper with some weird howls going on. So yeah, the whole thing kills. If you love your Death Doom and you don't know rune magic, bloody check them out. But yeah, I also got suckered in by that cover art as well, which is by Alex Herman, who did a ton of Century Media covers over the years, including Asphyx, Grave, Morgoth, and Moonspell, to name but a few. So yeah, cool ass artwork. So yeah, I'm looking forward to checking out their new one. But yeah, great Death Doom. Number 14 are Portuguese crooners Moonspell with their Sin Pecado album. As you can see, another promo one that I got. So this came out in 1998. So yeah, this was my intro to Moonspell. I did also get this one, Under the Moonspell, pretty early. This is their first EP, which sounds quite a bit different. A lot more black metal-y sort of style, but honestly, I didn't even hear Wolfheart for many years after that, which was this kind of logical step in between. And I did get Irreligious eventually. I do own that somewhere, but I couldn't find it, but which I really like. But yeah, this one is just my favourite. I was already a typo fan, so gothic metal didn't faze me one bit. I'd say these guys were Samael fans because there's plenty of a sort of feel-like passage to it, although a bit more gothic, of course. And yeah, I really enjoyed this. Fernando's got a really smooth killer voice. Honestly, this really isn't all that metal particularly. I think the second song, Handmade Gods, pretty metal, but I actually like the poxier, nicer sort of songs on here. I think it's Magdalene is like this super smooth with that nice sort of share the snake chorus bit and, electronica sort of beats and classy kick in halfway through. It's a great song. It is even I think it's Erotica, which is like epoxy dance song. I still kind of like that as well. Second Skin's a favourite with cruisy bass line, really nice lead line, and yeah, just crooning chorus. He's a really good singer. I think the third last song, Let the Children Come to Me, is just got some lush sort of choirs or probably keyboards, but I don't know. There's something great about this. It's very goth, it's a lot more goth than metal, really, but yeah, it's a killer album. Number 13 is one that came out in 1991, the golden era. This is Tiamat with the Astral Sleep. So this is Swedish, sort of death metal. Kind of. Back then they were pretty much. I think the previous album, Cimmerian Cry, didn't come out on Century Media, so that doesn't count. But this one, it's still sort of death metal. They obviously have a lot of Celtic Frost influence, so it's kind of like they're moving on, into the Pandemoniums. Not really anywhere near as heavy as the previous albums, but still absolutely killer. So honestly, this really doesn't sound much like any of the Swedish death metal bands, except for Therion. It sort of sounds like second, maybe third album era Therion. That's quite an obvious comparison, really. Really nice vocals from Johan, whatever his name is. I do like the album After This Clouds as well, except for the fact I get that stupid spoken word bit on In a Dream where he goes, in a dream, over and over. Yeah, that's stuck in my head all the bloody time. I don't think I even have, what is it, Wild Honey? Actually, that was one of those promo ones, wasn't it? So I do have Wild Honey, but I really don't know it very well, so probably should check that out a little more. But yeah, this one, pretty bloody good. Alright, number 12 is Samael with their Passage album. This is from 1996. So these guys, I probably should like their earlier, more black metal stuff a bit more, but this is the kind of sweet spot for Samael for me, I think. I am getting a bit more appreciation for their early works. Like Ceremony of Opposites is always ruled, although for some reason I don't own it. But Blood Ritual of late actually has kind of just clicked for me of late, so I might force myself to go back even further than that. Their early black metal stuff was a lot more sort of first wave than the second wave blasty sort of stuff. They were never super duper intense, but always had that kind of Hellhammer, Frost sort of feel to them, mainly because they're country mates, so no surprise there really. But with this, they kind of sort of turned into like industrial groove metal, you could say, especially on, I think it's Shining Kingdom is like, oh, okay. But I like it, I don't care. So not really proper industrial, but, industrial metal. It does actually have a slight Rammstein feel to it in parts, and good keyboards as well. It just adds that sort of symphonic touch without really overdoing it. And Vorf's got a killer voice. Pretty smooth, but also just decent amount of menace to it, I think. I mostly got suckered by this by the song Jupiterian Vibe, which, I think I had recorded it off Rage, like the music channel. Very striking film clip, but the song itself is freaking ripper. It's lots of sort of, it's a really moody kind of song with like quiet sort of bits of mostly just keyboards and drums and him singing, really. But then when it kicks back in, mega kick in. I love it so much. The middle electro breakdown bit's a little bit iffy, but I do like the contrast, and the riff when it kicks back in is like tough as hell, bloody awesome. I do really like, the opener Rain's a ripper as well, but Born Under Saturn's got this kind of triumphant kind of sounding riff to it. Yeah, killer bloody album, this one. I do have a couple of albums past this, but they're alright. But this one is peak era for me, and great production from, what's his name, Voldemir Saricha? Well, I don't know. Guy from Grip Inc. who did a lot. He did heaps of production for Centrometer as well, with like Lacuna Coil, Moonspell, Tiamat, Unleashed. So, among many others, the bloke gets around. So, this is probably my favourite Samael, but as I said, I'm leaning backwards a bit more. So, but yeah, this one, love it. Alright, number 11 is The Gathering with If Then Else from 2000. So these guys, I actually started again with the promo of Nighttime Birds, which is, I don't know, their third album or something or other, maybe fourth. I love this, but I was a bit confused because the only other one I'd had was the song In Sickness and in Health on this, which is from their sort of death metal days in the early days, of which I don't own any for some reason. It's weird. Like, I don't even own Mandalion. Really should get that, but Nighttime Birds certainly sold me as killer one. So, but yeah, it's all about Anarchy for them, for me, like the singer. She's got this lovely ethereal voice, but she's really strong voice as well, which I like. Just soaring and powerful, but capable of plenty of subtlety as well. So this is, their probably fifth album or sixth album by then. They'd already started getting a little more kind of alternative rock with How to Measure a Planet, but this one more so, really. But I don't care. I'm no purist that it's got to be metal. If anything, I think Mandalion sounds a bit too metal for them. It's a bit clunky in parts, I reckon. So I like that this is just smooth as hell. They got that nice sort of dynamic of quiet and then loud, which works really well with her vocals. And again, with her vocals, I love that she sounds so strong in the loud sort of parts. I don't know, occasionally you get that sort of bands with a female singer that kind of takes a step back in the really heavy bits. I always find that with the Third and the Mortal. She'll sing over the nice mellow bits, but then there'll be mega riff kicks in and no vocals at all. It's like bit of a waste. I don't know. I like powerful vocals over powerful bits as well. So, but yeah, on this, Roller Coaster's killer, Shot to Pieces rules. Analog Park's actually the moody sort of mellow song on here, which works really bloody well. I've got a batch of these guys, probably up until about Home, I think. I don't know if I've got anything beyond that. We actually saw them in New York when the dear wife and I went over there in 2007. Saw them at this tiny little club. It was bloody awesome, like 200 people there, sort of thing at most. And yeah, they were awesome. She was just delightful on stage, just so good. So yeah, they sounded amazing. So yeah, number 12. Oh, sorry, 11. The Gathering. Number 10 is I Hate God with Dope Sick. This is from 1996. So yeah, couldn't resist these guys. Sludge Kings. So yeah, but it was kind of a tough call between this and Take As Needed As Pain, the album before that. Although it was a pretty easy call because I don't actually own that for some reason. I must have had a burn of it forever, but I don't own the proper version, which is a bugger. I looked it up and they're not easy to come by. But anyway, I do own the first one, which is doesn't really count because, I mean, my version is the Century Media one, but this did come out on a different label. This is In the Name of Suffering, which is Feedback Central. That was my introduction to I Hate God, and I was like, oh, Jesus, is that supposed to be feedbacking quite that much? But nah, it sold me pretty much straight away. So just so much swagger and groove to these guys. It's beautiful. But combined with such bleakness as well. Like Mike sounds like he's being tortured, the singer. It's awesome. I mean, this one probably wins for me anyway because it's got Dixie Whiskey, which is easily probably my favourite I Hate God song, mainly because of this little compilation. This is what's that? Does it even have a name? Oh yeah, Loud and Ugly Volume 2, which came out on like Bovine Records. Killer compilation. The Thug songs on here, or song on here, Cancer Causes Rats, plus Apartment 213, Despise You, Floor. Killer. But yeah, the I Hate God, like the song Dixie Whiskey is just that faster, groovier one. Like, it really doesn't sound that much like I Hate God, but it rules. I really love on this as well the Lack of Almost Everything. Just staggers drunkenly between sort of fast and slow bits. They've got a weird style, but they do it so just fits perfectly. Broken Down but not locked up's another crusher, but I mean the whole thing freaking rules. Awesome production from Billy Anderson as well. Like that really makes it as well. I think the only other sludge sort of band I can think of on Century Media was Grief. That I think their first album or two were on Century Media, but they've never really caught me anywhere near as much as I Had God, I gotta say. These guys just effortlessly lurch between sort of crushing doom and southern grooves. So it's bleak but horrible beauty. Love it. Alright, number 9 is Cryptopsy with Whisper Supremacy. So I did initially think, it's going to be a hard choice picking between these, but yeah, None So Vile actually came out on Wrong Again Records or something or other. So yeah, Whisper Supremacy from 1998 wins it for me, I think. So yeah, I mean the earlier Lord Worm stuff, I do like it, but I'm pretty sure this is actually where I started with Cryptopsy. So it doesn't really worry me that they had a different singer. Like Mike DeSalvo's got a pretty different style to Lord Worm, a bit more in your face, a bit more sort of just powerful in some ways. I don't know, I always thought Lord Worm's ones were a bit quiet on the previous albums. It's still killer style, but DeSalvo's just a bit more hammer you down sort of style. But yeah, it's technical as hell, but really flows beautifully. It's just a really good balance somehow. A lot more changes than None So Vile. It's always mutating into something else, but the riffs really don't linger. They don't sort of overdo it, or it doesn't feel overused. I mean, the whole thing's like 31 minutes long or something or other. So, and yeah, of course, Flo's a monster behind the kid. That dude's a beast. Bloody hell. Lots of power and just interesting sort of beats as well. Like I do like the twangy bass as well. It's sort of one of their trademark sort of sounds, although the little solos cool, but not as good as on I think it's Slit Your Guts. Just yeah, that rules. I think on this the second song, Cold Hate Warm Blood's probably my favorite. Just those nice changes between mellow and intense fast and just lurching chunky bits. It's beautiful stuff. Much better sound, I reckon, than None So Vile as well. So the album after this, and then Your Begs, yeah, that's pretty good. But yeah, this this is peak era Cryptopsy for me. I think they're actually touring Australia in December, playing Canberra as well, I think. So I'll probably finally get to see them, I think. Don't know what their new stuff's like, particularly. I don't think it's that great, but what the hell. I'll go see them live. So, yeah, number 9, Cryptopsy. All right, number 8 is Psy with Imaginary Sonicscapes from 2001. So these guys, I did get into them through a promo, not from Century Media, from Cacophonous, of Hail Horror Hail, their second album, I think. I always loved that one, and I mean, the other albums are pretty cool as well. The first one never really blew me away, I gotta say, but this album, I don't know. That they were a bit black metal in the early days, mostly kind of the vocals, but really just sort of first wave kind of style, like just weird, slower sort of style. But this by now they'd morphed into some weirdness, that's for sure. Much rockier than their earlier black sort of stuff. I love some of the songs. I think it's what is it? Ecstatic Transformation. It's even got like some hand claps and these like, Sabbathy sort of style riffs. Just lush keyboards. I mean, Miro, the main guy's keyboard maniac on it, so it sounds killer. There's really a lot going on this. It's kind of difficult to describe it all, but my favourite song without a doubt is the second song, Scarlet Dream. It's got a cool chorus, but then like about 3/4 of the way through it just has this amazing little sort of weird keyboard bit, and then it's kind of like reggae almost or something. I don't know. It's hard to describe. You'll know it if you hear it. It's like towards the end of the song. It's beautiful. Just strange. Nietzschean Conspiracy is another weird sort of one with this kind of cruisy Ulva kind of feel to it with these croaky sort of vocals over it. Dreamskate's got some moaning female vocals and just works really well with a crazed kind of keyboard solos. As I said, this is difficult sort of stuff to describe, really. You really got to hear it. So I highly encourage checking this one out. I mean, Psy have a lot of albums, and I'm kind of sad I missed when they played in Melbourne a couple of years ago, but I'm pretty sure they're touring in October, so yeah, looking forward to that. Definitely go and see that one, I think. So yeah, weird, really not that black metal, but weird, great stuff. Number 7 is Demolition Hammer with Tortured Existence. This is from 1990. This is one of the pretty bloody early ones for Century Media. So yeah, rabid death thrash. Oh, look at that cover. I have shown this before, probably several times. I'm not a huge fan of that cover, but I think that's what suckered me into it. So yeah, just rabid death thrash, nasty as hell. Really, it's just sort of brutal thrash with, although the lyrics pretty centered around sort of death, throaty vocals, just so much aggression. Kind of reminds me of Millie from Creator without the sort of shrieks sort of style. Sometimes it's sort of growled for effect, but mostly just nasty sounding. Some of the songs actually, like Gelid Remains, kind of reminds me of like Testament in parts, with loud sort of clangy bass and kind of gang vocals and a bit of a Bay Area mosh sort of part to it. So yeah, excellent bloody drummer as well in this band, Vinny Days, who got to admire the Daisy Dukes. Unfortunately, the poor bugger died of globefish poisoning, apparently. I don't know how accurate that story is, but we'll go with that. So yeah, there's 44 caliber brain surgery, love it. Crippling velocity, infectious hospital waste, I love it. So yeah, this is Scott Burns Morrisound production, I'm fairly certain, yep. And yeah, I do think the first side's a little stronger than the second side. It kind of wanes a bit by the end, but some reason it took me forever up until recently to actually get around to picking up their second album, Epidemic of Violence, which is probably a bit better, actually. It's freaking ripper as well. So yeah, don't know why I didn't buy that, but very happy that I did buy Tortured Existence way back when. So yeah, number 7.
All I ask is one monthly voice for caliber brain surgery.
All right, number 6 from 1997 is Strapping Young Lad with City. Now, with these guys, for me, it's really a choice between the first and the second one. Heavy is a heavy thing, or whatever it's called, is a really heavy thing, sorry. It's sort of crazier and more youthful sort of enthusiasm, but To me, City is just dense, maximalist sort of music. There's so much going on. I love it. I mean, his voice on it, this is like Devin Townsend, obviously. His voice sounds great, both sort of harsh and clean. For some reason, this was recorded at like Steve Vai's studio, although that's I think he did used to sing for him. And yeah, anyway, but despite the intensity, he's always got a hook in his songs. A bloke knows how to write songs, that's for sure. I do wonder if he's a Pantera fan because there's a few certain sort of riff styles that just sound a bit Dimebag-ish. I think it's Oh My Fucking God, the song has just a bit that sounds similar to his sort of chunky bits. And I still reckon that's a Godflesh riff that he borrowed from for the song All Hail the New Flesh. And yeah, I mean, the first couple of songs, I mean, the whole thing in bloody rules, really, to tell the truth. But those first 3 or 4 songs, whew, Jesus. I did used to quite like Room 429, the mellow sort of one on it, but it just doesn't really work for me much anymore. So, but yeah, having Gene Hoglan on drums for this, yeah, really elevates it quite a bit. Dude's a beast. Honestly, I did have notes saying I'm surprised they weren't bigger, but then, yeah, they kind of were, really. It didn't help they split up in 1998, sort of, or went on hiatus then at the kind of peak of their popularity. But now that I think about it, Devin himself's got pretty decent following, that's for sure. I'm sure he sells a few records. But yeah, for me, this was kind of peak area. I don't actually own anything after this other than the live one. No, I don't think I even own them. I don't know why. I really should go back to them, I think. I did see them live a heap back then. Like in 97, they toured with Alchemist, which was freaking killer. 99, when he played with like Ocean Machine and Infinity all in the same bloody gig, it would have been pretty intense for him. And then again in 2003, I think it was one of the Alien tour maybe, or I don't know, with that was pretty cool as well. Really good sound, always good live. And I tell you what, I'll do the old name drop. Yeah, I talked to Devin Townsend on the phone once. Yeah, back in my BMA Music Magazine days, I got to interview him. And yeah, him, as I think I said in my previous video, him and Igor Cavalera, nicest dudes possible. Best interviewees that I had, legends. Bloody awesome. So yeah, he was a top bloke. So yeah, this is a killer bloody album. I'm sure most of you are well familiar with Strapping Young Lad. They're probably one of the more popular bands. I'd be curious as what their sales were on Century Media. Probably pretty good, I'd say. All right, for number 5, we're back to Sweden with Unleashed, with Where No Life Dwells. This came out in 1991. Classic sort of era. This is just a reissue, unfortunately, but yeah, this was a band it took me a while to get into, really. I knew the song before the creation of Time because of the video clips, saw it on Rage all the time. It was never as good as the Morbid Angel or Napalm Death or whatever other clips were playing. I think I always just wanted to see Left Hand Path, even though the clip sucks. But yeah, they've really grown on me over the years. I don't know. I don't think I gave them enough of a go. I mean, they're in my top 20 Swedish death metal albums as well. So yeah, they're slowly but very surely working their way up my lists. That's for sure. For some reason, really enjoy that mid-paced sort of galloping style that they have these days. Plus, I love a good slow. I think it's on Dead Forever. He does a really good long, slow growl. Beautiful. I'm a sucker for that sort of thing. And yeah, this is. I think it probably doesn't help that I bought Across the Open Sea first, which really wasn't the greatest. The album after this is pretty bloody good as well. But yeah, this one for me, every song on here rules. I can't believe I wasn't into these guys earlier on. I guess I was more into the blasty, nasty sort of stuff, whereas this is a bit more subtle. But yeah, it's really interesting just how different this sounds to like Nihilist and Entombed and Dismember and all that. It really, and I think they purposely recorded it elsewhere, not at Sunlight, so it did sound different. So yeah, killer song. Or sorry, killer album, that's for sure. So yeah, number 5, Unleashed. All right, number 4, and this is probably a little blasphemous after, topping Unleashed, but Bloodbath with Resurrection Through Carnage. This is from 2002. Yes, limited edition, 22 of 500. Oh my god. Yeah, killer bloody album though. I mean, this is, super group with, Dan Swano, Jonas and Anders from Catatonia, and, some Michael Ackerfeld bloke from Opeth. So, this is just born from them getting drunk, having fun playing old Swedish death metal. And they're obviously huge Entombed fans, but that rules. I don't know. There's something absolutely killer about this album. I think it's probably because it does have that level of Catatonia sort of feel to it in the lead sort of bits and solos and so on. It's, Entombed meets Catatonia. It's a perfect match for me, really. So, and really, I mean, for all that, this is after the fact. It is from 2002. It's only like 10 years after pretty much the sort of peak era of old death metal. So, on this, the guitar sounds a bit average on the faster sort of bits, but on the chunky, crunchy sort of bits like on Mass Strangulation, it just sounds absolutely killer. I really like Ackerfeld's vocals on this. Heavy as hell. The guy's got a huge growl. Great use of slow double bass from Dan, because Dan Swano's on drums on this for some reason. So, I love the slow double bass. It's beautiful. I mean, every song on it is pretty friggin' killer, I gotta say. My favourite is definitely Like Fire. Just that opening riff and the I Am Eternal bit. Oh, so tough. Death Delirium's another favourite. Soul Collector. Yeah, the whole thing friggin' rules. I'm a bit sad I've never actually managed to catch these guys live. It's weird. They've been to Australia at least once. I don't think they played any of the MDFs I went to, but after this they went, I mean, the album after this is pretty bloody good as well, but then they went sort of a bit more Florida death metal style that just doesn't quite appeal to me. I'm still buying their stuff. Tragic for Anders and co. Yeah, obviously. Since the split, I don't think Jonas is in this band anymore, and Anders is definitely not in Catatonia. So, yeah, that's a bit awkward. But yeah, I freaking love this album, Bloodbath. Oh, bloody awesome. All right, number 3. We'll take a slight break from the death metal now with Ulva and their Nathan's Madrigal, or The Madrigal of the Night album. This is from 1997, of which I have on CD and I do have on record, but it's always disappointing. This has the cover on the inside because, man, I love that cover art. It's so good. I do have a flag over there, which is it covers my record player from dust normally. So yeah, but that cover art, easily one of my favorite album covers. But the music itself, holy shit! This is the only Century Media release for Ulva, so it was a pretty easy choice there for sure. But yeah, this is just the harshest black metal. This is a band that blew me away on that Firestarter compilation. You know, it's got like Emperor and Satirica, heaps of other kick-ass bands, but the Ulva stuff was just like immediate, like, whoa, is that supposed to sound like that? It's raw as shit, but they're just harsh but really majestic sort of riffs. I don't know, there's something about it. When your ears get used to it, it's incredible album. At this stage, I hadn't even heard Bergtad or Kveldzanger, so this was my introduction to Opeth. It was like, oh, Jesus. I've stayed, though. But yeah, I'm a death metal guy normally, but this to me is one of my favourite black metal albums. Just absolute belter. Still has mellow acoustic bit from like Feldzanger style, I think on the first song, but yeah, not for long. And the contrast when the harshness kicks back in is just, Jesus, immense. I mean, the sound on this is raw as shit, but the guitars are really up front. So all the tremolo action is just like, Jesus. Unfortunately, that does mean the drums and the vocals are a bit buried. I have no idea if there's even bass on there at all. Probably not, but it's a shame about the vocals because they're still loud enough. You can mostly hear them really, but because Garm is just throat shreddingly nasty sounding on this. Holy shit! My favourite songs are probably, and I don't know if they've actually got song names. I think they do, but usually they're just like numbered. I think track 1 and track 3 are my favourites, but I do like the sort of melodic track 6 as well. So yeah, this is a ridiculously brutal album, but so bloody good. So if you're into newer, nicer Ulver, this might be a shock to you if you haven't heard it before. But yeah, I'd be surprised. It's a pretty famous album, but yeah, absolute ripper. Number 2, back to 1991 yet again. We have Asphyx with The Rack. This is Dutch death metal dudes. I probably could quite easily have picked Last One on Earth as well. That's nearly as good, I think. This one, just tough as shit. I mean, this is an Ibex Moon pressing of it. It sounds pretty shit house, actually. I do actually usually just listen to the CD version of it because it's, not scratchy and shit sounding, even though this is probably remastered. But, one day I'll get the original. But, yeah, I love this bloody album. Just ridiculous death doom. Even though this only really has, from Pestilence, it only has Martin, like, who was the singer, and I did play bass in Pestilence, but to me, this is almost like a sequel to Consuming Impulse. I don't know, they're just similar, tough as hell riffing. It's nasty, but I mean, obviously a lot more doom to this than Pestilence ever had. On this, I think Evocation's probably my favourite song on here. It's just like the slower, crunchy sort of one, and just the solo is so bloody killer. This beautiful, mournful style. Pages in Blood's got another awesome solo in it as well. It's another doomy, slower one, but I don't know, something about his solo sound. It's just the cleanest lead sound. So beautifully done. Eric Daniels knows what he's doing. On this as well, like Wasteland of Terror is a shorter sort of one. It's only a bit over 2 minutes, but I don't know, this is a perfect example of an Asphyx song. It's got the fast and the slow bits, and then just massive friggin' riff, mandatory headbang. It's so bloody good. I mean, every song on here friggin' rules as well. Like even the Rack, the last song's like 9 minutes long, still rules as well. They do use a bit of the subtle keyboard sort of style of the early 90s, not sort of overdone, definitely not Nocturnus level of stupidity or anything, but I don't know why. For some reason, people bag the production on this. I love it. I mean, it's pretty raw, sure, but, there's even, I remember reading notes or an interview with them where they were saying, oh, yeah, we gave it to the Century Media guys, and they were like, what is this shit? It shouldn't sound like that. So, I don't know. I love it. I think the vocals from Martin Van Turner are probably my favourite of his. It's just got the most, it just sounds like both manic and enraged on this. It's so bloody good. It's still real shame that he never recorded anything with Bolt Thrower. That, I reckon, would have ruled. I still actually need to get a copy of Embrace the Death, which is like a production or sort of pre-production demo version of kind of this album. It's like a batch of these songs and older ones with Theo, the old singer, on vocals and bass. I do need to track that down. It does sound pretty cool. I mean, it's pretty friggin' raw sounding, even rawer sounding than this, but I do prefer Van Drunen. He's just massive raw, one of my favourite vocalists by miles. So this album, absolute ripper. If you like Death Doom and you don't have this, friggin' get it. It rules. Number 1, Stuck Mojo. Nah, just kidding. If you've seen my Swedish death metal one, you'll know what's number 1. No surprise whatsoever. Grave with You'll Never See. This is from 1992. Now, obviously, this was a very tough choice between this and first album, Into the Grave, which, I mean, honestly, if this didn't exist, Into the Grave would still be number 1 on this list by a mile. So, I love this band so much. Swedish death metal gods. So heavy, so chainsawy sounding, although slightly less on this one, actually. That's partly why I like You'll Never See a bit better. The production's slightly better. It's not quite as chainsawy and raw sounding. There's a bit more clarity. Again, then I'll put on Into the Grave and go, oh, actually, maybe that should be number 1. As soon as Extremely Rotten Flesh starts, it's like, oh, shit, that is pretty bloody good. But nah, we'll go with You'll Never See. Once I put that back on, it's like, oh, yeah. Plus, that cover art, I don't know, way better than Into the Grave, that's for sure. Super heavy Swedish death metal. Both of them from Sunlight, studios with Skogsberg producing. Vocals from Jorgen's is easily one of my favourite death metal vocalists. Just ridiculously powerful sort of style. I mean, this has got a couple of older songs, the sort of demo era songs like Morbid Way to Die and Brutally Deceased that are just heavy as shit. I mean, the title track just, the You'll Never See Heaven and the whole Take My Hand bit, man, so tough. The whole album is a mandatory headbanger, really. I do like that this has just a bit more bottom end than the usual sort of Swedish death metal-y sort of ones of those days, like Entombed and Dismember. Mid-pace sections just crushed like on Obsessed. Christ Insanity is another friggin' ripper. I've loved this since the second I heard this. I got this when wow, these are actually reissue records. I didn't actually own this on anything official for donkey's years. I've got like a reissue CD. I got an original like Into the Grave CD, but for some reason this one, I don't know, I just had a tape of it immediately and was just like, yeah, sold. Just brutal, bludgeoning Swedish death metal, just godlike stuff. Beautiful. So yeah, number one by a mile, really. Sorry to the other band. This is no competition whatsoever. Alright, so that's my top 20 albums from Century Media. If you're an old head like me, you're probably thinking, where the hell's Morgoth? And I do own quite a bit of Morgoth. This is like the 2 EPs slapped together, and this is the first album, so I mean, it's maybe not quite a bit, but I don't know, they never really did it for me, to tell the truth. It just sounded too much like basically Death Leprosy. That's all I can hear whenever I listen to them, which, I mean, I love Death Leprosy, don't get me wrong. I don't need a band that's trying to sound exactly the same. I don't know, his vocals never really grabbed me, plus I saw him live at MDF, I don't know, years after the fact, years after they were great, and it was like, those vocals are really not good. So, yeah, sorry, Morgoth. Probably have dozens of German people wanting to kill me now, but oh well, I'll survive. There are a few other bands that I do very much like on these guys that didn't quite get in the list. Morbus Chron, I was tempted, but honestly, I prefer their first album, which didn't come out on Century Media. Still killer band, don't get me wrong. And I'll also give a shout out to Mark G with a C, aka what's his Bowels of Retribution. I only just got this. His band Enchantment came out on Century Media, their album. I only got this recently, so I don't really know it that well. So keep up the good work, Mark. You're a legend. As far as the newest, another older one that never really did it for me was Comican. This is it was like a Swedish band, but with like random guest singers. Like this is their second album. This has got Mountain Van Drunen on it. First album had like L.G. Petrov from Entombed, and then the third album I think had Mark Crew from aforementioned good old Morgoth. So weird. It's just like two guitarists and a drum machine. Yeah, it's all right. Never really did a giant amount for me, really, to tell the truth. And there's some other older ones that I just never had. Like Sodom Tap in the Vein, I think came out on Century Media. Never had it. Don't really know it. Bork Nagar, I don't mind those guys. I don't actually own anything, so maybe I should. But there's also Despair, which is like Robert, one of the main head honcho guys. He's sort of thrash band. Never heard him. Sorry, mate. They do have some sort of newer bands. I mean, keep in mind, they're massive friggin' catalogue. There's so many releases they put out. A batch of stuff I've no idea. Like, I don't know half their new bands. Like, I think Tribulation are on them now, as well as that Unto Others, or Untoothers, as I like calling them. So they've got the sort of goth metal stuff. I don't really know it very well. I don't think I've heard a second of Imperial Triumphant. I do have some newer stuff, like this Frozen Soul album. That's all right. Nothing too horrible. I do have some Grave Pleasures as well, but it's never going to be as good as Beast Milk. So, and I mean, they got a ton of other bands. That Sangua Sugar Bog or whatever I think's on them as well. Skeletal Remains. And some older ones as well that I never really grabbed me. Nevermore, never did much. Iced Earth, they're all right. Arch Enemy, they're pretty good, but not making the list. Sorry about that. So, anyway, hope you've enjoyed that. That's just my brief look at Century Media. So, excellent record label. Keep up the good work, fellas. So, yeah, well, Sony now that they own them, but they're still putting out damn good stuff. So, especially that blood incantation. Oh, yeah, bloody good. So, anyway, thanks for watching. I'll see you again soon. Cheers.